that odious stench. Smells like...
Hey there, welcome to Hymns of My Wake. I'm Jake, and today we're going to be doing a response video to the Death Doom Metalhead. A while back he did a video called something like 10 questions for the rock/metal YouTube community. So being new here, looking for I got a few videos in the works, but I was just looking to crank one out real quick. I saw that video a while back, figured one of these days I'd do it, so why not do it today? I also saw Azag's Abyss did the response as well. He did a great job. Check that one out. I'll leave the link to that, and I'll also leave a link to the original video from the Death Doom Metalhead. Check out that channel if you haven't. He's doing great work. Anyways, got the questions pulled up here, so I'll be looking over there every time to get the question, so I don't have them all memorized. Before we get going with that, in the background, we're listening to Wormwitch, Strike Mortal Soil. These guys are out of, I think, British Columbia, Canada. I think the best way to describe this is maybe black and roll, maybe some black and death, but it's not real heavy on the death. It's a really good album. Really hard to put a genre on it necessarily. I think black and roll is about as close as it gets. Yeah, super good album. Wormwitch, Strike Mortal Soil. If you dig this, on their Bandcamp right now, they're selling cassette copies of their, I think it's their demo. It's repressed for the first time in a long time. Super hard to come by. There's only 75 copies, so I recommend getting on it. I'm waiting for mine to show up. Super excited for that. Yeah, really good stuff. Anyways, let's get to it. So the first question is, why did you start a YouTube channel? For me, like a lot of us, it's a place to, connect with people, talk about the music we love. I don't really have a lot of, friends in my life that are into the same music as I am, that have this shared interest. So it's kind of a way for me to branch out, find a community to talk to. That's one reason. Another reason, that we, I think all of us do this is because we want to introduce other people to the music that we love. If I can turn one person on to a new band, my job's done. And another reason for me, I didn't really see a lot of people sharing the same kind of stuff that I'm into. A lot of the more mellow death and some of the post-black metal type stuff I'm into. So I figured I kind of had a bit of a unique voice that I could bring to this. But yeah, that's why for the most part I started the YouTube channel. Been meaning to do it for quite a while. One of my biggest influences was watching Classy Lonnie, also Dead Like Reviews. Those two channels were a big kind of motivation to get my channel going. Yeah, so next question. What's your go-to genre in rock and metal? If you know anything about me, as you can see behind me, big Metalhead fan. Insomnia and Dark Tranquility back there. That, and I would say post black metal and atmospheric black metal. Also, this is probably my go-to genres. If I had to choose, if I had to choose one genre, I would be really hard pressed to choose between those three. But yeah. Next question, one genre of music you cannot get your head around or understand. Reggae is the one genre that I have never found anything that I can enjoy. Reggae is weird for me. I used to work with people that listen to it a lot. It's not that I didn't like the music, it's not that I disliked the music. I was indifferent towards it. But every day that I was listening to reggae, I just found my mood. Something about it made me on edge and kind of pissed off, for the lack of a better term. It just put me in a kind of an angry mood. I don't know why, but more, if we want to keep it, metal related, a genre of metal that I have yet to been able to get into. I have to go with maybe gore grind. I like a little bit of grindcore, but when it gets into the gorier themes and even porno grind, that shit's too extreme for me. Even in death metal, I'm not really drawn towards the real gory stuff. But yeah. Next question. One thing you would change about your YouTube channel? Obviously, I'd like to know a little bit more about the shit I'm talking about. I would like to come off more. What's the fucking word? I don't know. More. This is what I mean. Being able to present my thoughts better. Have a little more knowledge on the history of metal. As I'm a more recent listener to the more extreme side of metal, I don't have the knowledge of the history like some of these other older guys do, but that's one thing I would change. Another thing I'm working on changing as soon as I can is my lighting. I know my lighting on these videos isn't the best. That's one thing that I will work to change in the future. Also, that's that one. One album in your collection you're not sure how it got there or why you own it. This was a hard one for me. As I was going through my collection, I really know where pretty much everything came from. Whether it was a mystery box, the local record store, if it was a one-off order, whatever. I looked for a little bit. The only thing close to that I could find was this album this compilation by Thief. This is actually my second copy of it that I have. I remember ordering one copy. I don't necessarily remember how I got a second copy. I'm guessing that it was just thrown in as a kind of a bonus on another order that I did from out of season. Yeah, but if you're not familiar with Thief or Fife, one of those ways is how you say it. I'm not sure on which, but if you're not familiar with them, it's kind of a dungeon synth project. I don't know that I'd call it. It's not super. When you think of dungeon synth, you think synths. It's not super heavy on the synths. It's more of the the dungeon sounds, I guess. Medieval. It's got a more medieval instrumentations, not necessarily synthesizers. Maybe some, you know, lutes and whatever. But yeah, if you haven't listened to these guys and you're into any of that kind of music, well, not these guys, this guy. It's a solo project, but yeah, check it out if you haven't. If that sounds like something you're into. Next question. Do you have an idol that you look up to within music? You know, there's I have my favorite musicians, but I wouldn't necessarily call any of them idols. You know, as somebody that's not a musician myself, I don't have that like, I don't look up to what they do with their craft. You know, I don't understand like if a guitarist is good, I don't take like the influence and apply it to myself. So I don't really per se have an idol. You know, there's some guys that I look at and I'm like, they're super good dudes. There are a lot of super nice musicians out there that are just good people. You know, maybe you could consider some of them idols, but I don't really say that I have an idol in music. Next question: your most desired album that you do not have in your collection? I got a few. I'm gonna go. I'd like to get a copy of Damage Done by Dark Tranquillity. It's probably, if I had to choose a favorite Dark Tranquillity album, that would probably be it. But Dark Tranquillity is a band that's, you know, just so solid in their discography that it's hard to choose one album as a favorite. But lately, that I've really been digging that album and been wanting to get a copy of it. You know, some of that stuff it's not super expensive. It's not, you know, it's not 3 figures for most of their albums, but they're pretty hard to come by. I'm hoping soon they'll get a repress. Yeah, that's one. Another one, going with the theme of the flags back there, is Second Stage Turbine Blade by Coheed and Cambria. It's a super expensive record, hard to find. On Discogs it goes for, I think, $300 for a good copy of it. Hopefully one day I'll be able to have an extra $300 that I can throw at it. Couple more. How do I put these? These ones haven't been pressed on vinyl, but these are albums that I would like to see pressed to vinyl, so I could own a copy on that format. Even on CD, they're on the pricier side. They're, you know, it's going to cost you at least $20, I think, to buy these on CD. I haven't gotten them yet, but so they're on the want list. Those albums are Saturnus, Paradise, Belongs to You, and Veronica Decides to Die. Both super good, top-notch doom death albums that I'd love to have in the collection. Next question. One band you wish you could have seen live when they were, in your opinion, at their best. So, as anybody that never got to see these bands would say, you know, I'd like to have seen Dio, Motorhead, and more recently, rest in peace, Eddie Van Halen. I would have loved to see them in their prime, even at all. I never got the chance to see any of them, but you know, they're bands that I'll never get the chance to see now that you know, the main guys have passed away. But now that we got the low-hanging fruit out of the way, got those easy ones out of the way. A couple that I would like to see that are, well, one that's way past their prime, that aren't at their best in my opinion anymore, is In Flames. I'd love to see In Flames before they turned into, you know, this radio metal bullshit band. I would have loved to see them as they were transitioning. Some people would say my favorite era of In Flames was that Horacle, between Horacle, god damn it, the White Album. That was a good one. Cloud Connected was on that album. I don't know if that's the name of the album. I'm fucking completely spacing it right now. Soundtrack to Your Escape, you know, that era. In Flames, somewhere late 90s, early 2000s era In Flames. I would have loved to see them back then. A band that's still in there, or an artist that's still in his prime, that I'd love to have the opportunity to see is Panopticon. Hopefully, fingers crossed, one day I'll be able to catch a live show from Austin. Yeah. Here's another one that was a little on the harder side for me. The worst album cover in your collection. Let's see. So I pulled out two. They're not like egregiously awful album covers. I just a little bland for my taste. You know, I'm big on album art. I do a lot of blind buys, that kind of thing. And you know, if the album art doesn't catch you, you're not gonna buy it in those kind of situations. And you know, just in general, a lot of the music I listen to, there's a lot of excellent album art. And looking through my collection, everything's pretty much everything. I could have easily pulled out some CDs, but I don't have my CDs where they're all easily accessible, and I didn't want to spend, you know, an hour going through trying to find a bunch of ugly ass covers. There's, you know, nothing immediately came to mind. But I flipped through my records to see if I had anything that looked, you know, it was awful album cover, and found a couple pretty bland ones, but that's about it. But the first one is Heaven in Her Arms, Paracine, or Paraceline, yeah, that's the name of it. You know, this kind of just a mess on here. When you get real close, there's a little bit of a, I don't know if you'd call it a spot gloss, but it's real faint on there. You have to really look for it and pick it up, and even then it's kind of a mess all over. You know, it's got these like splotches on the cover. It's just hard to make out anything that's going on. You know, it's not terrible, but it's not a great album cover. Then the other one that I pulled out was Mare Cognitum and Extra Conscious Lucidity. You know, again, it's not ugly. It's not stellar either. It's very bland again. The reason why this one, you know, stood out to me was because this same band has, at the same time, amazing album art. You know, this is the split with Spectral Lore, Wanderers, Astrology of the Nine. Really good stuff. Probably going to be on my end of year list for this year. Yeah, when you put out an album cover like this, it doesn't compare. Yeah, that's that one. The last question number 10. Your most personal album / record that brings you happy memories. Again, thought of a few of them. I didn't pull out copies of these, but Metallica Black Album and Linkin Park Hybrid Theory are a couple albums that I really have fond memories attached to from back in, being right just out of high school. Me and my buddies would go hang out every Friday, Saturday night, and one of the main things we would go and do is we would go play laser tag, and the laser tag place had a handful of like 10 CDs that you could choose from to listen to while you played, and those were the two that we always went with. So got a lot of fond memories there, especially because my best friend that I used to go out and do that with passed away in 2010. So a lot of my those albums bring back a lot of memories of my best friend, which is a couple others I thought of. I think I talked about these guys in my first video, but Ailstorm. This is probably the one that brings back, or that has the most attachment to this memory. So I think this was the album they were touring for when I saw them live. But yeah, these guys were the first metal concert that I went to. Went by myself, and super fun time. So I'll always associate that memory with that one. And then the last one, this is gonna not really come up well because it's still in its shrink wrap. I probably don't ever plan on taking it out. This is Astronoid. It doesn't help that the artwork's pretty dark. But yeah, this is Astronoid Stargazer. The reason why this one has those happy memories attached to it. I went and saw these guys. I actually went to the show. They were the opening band. There were two other kind of prog metal bands, modern prog metal bands. I don't even remember the names of them on the tour with them. These guys, Astronoid was the openers. But yeah, I went and saw them. After they played their set, I was out in the venue that they played. There's the concert place. There's the stage and everything, and then off to a separate room is where they have their merch tables and everything. So after they played, I went out and I was trying to decide whether I wanted to stay and watch the bands I didn't care about or just head out. And so I was hanging out there. I ran into the band. And I spent a good, probably close to an hour talking with them after their show, just hanging out with them. And I brought up asking, because sorry, I'm kind of all over the place here, but I brought up to them this album's really, I didn't know this existed on CD at that point. So I asked them, is it ever going to get a physical release? And they said, well, actually we did a long time ago. We're long out of copies or whatever, something like that. And then anyways, we went on talking and about other stuff, about music and whatnot. I was talking with the main guy behind the project. I think he does the writing. He's the lead singer, lead guitarist. I don't know, actually, he's a guitarist. I don't know if he's the lead. Anyways, I'm focusing on meaningless shit. Anyways, I was talking to him, Brett, for most at that time, and then the other guy that I was talking with him was like, he's like, hey, hang on a second, don't go anywhere, I'll be right back. And came back out, and he handed me this. Come to find out, this release was, and he's like, he told me this was the very last copy they had of it. If that's true or not, I'm not sure. I might have just been saying that, but it likely could have been. On Discogs, only 4 people. There are only 4 people that have this, and there's 88 people that want it. But yeah, he handed it to me. He's like, yeah, this is we only ever made this available in kind of like a speakeasy fashion. It's like we never put it out for sale. It was we only brought it out if people, asked about it, and he said this was the very last copy they had. That's true. Pretty cool. But yeah, that brings back the memories of that concert. Hanging out with these guys after, getting to know them a little bit. Yeah, super cool experience. Yeah, that was the last question. Let's wrap this up. Go check out the Death Doom Metalhead. He's got some super cool records that he shows. Check out Azag's Abyss or Azag's Abyss, especially if you dig, if you're more into, the death and black metal. He shows some super cool stuff on there too. I'm sure you guys if you're watching my channel, you've probably heard of both of them. But anyways, if you haven't, go check them out. Yeah, until next time, take care of yourselves.